It's the weekend. It's Mailbag. I am joined on this Saturday morning. We're recording this one. I am joined by Matt Jones, Dan Vane, and Sam White. How's everyone's weekend so far? We're just into it, but everyone having a good one so far?
Not bad.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, been down the beach with the dog this morning. Nice, but I think there's a few hungover people in this call, isn't there?
You've already been down the beach.
Yeah,
Matt's so
I'm having my big drinking day tomorrow. I'm going to a christening, so.
So all day.
Yeah, afterwards. Yeah, so I'm saving myself for that.
So is it 11 o'clock kick off the christening, and then
I think so. Yeah, so taking it easy until then.
It's a good idea. Yeah, tremendously messy stuff. Yeah, I was at Mick Head last night at the Olympia, and it was a wonderful gig, and I drank a lot, and it was just a really nice night. We'll start with some questions. So Sam, we'll come to you first. What deserves a bank holiday? This is obviously on the back of having an extra bank holiday last week, which was wonderful. And it was terrible going back to work on Monday. What do you reckon we should have an extra bank holiday for?
Are we allowed to say the death of Thatcher?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why that isn't.
My feeling about this was, death of Thatcher. We have a 4-day bank holiday, but it's only a bank holiday for people who earn less than 50 grand a year, and all the service jobs over that weekend are performed by landlords.
That ticks every box for me, to be honest.
And I came up with some with a few others because I thought everyone might say that. So it's definitely whenever England are playing in an international tournament, that's flat out stupid as making us go into work in the day for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly the death of Thatcher. Overwhelmingly the death of Thatcher.
Say that one more time, just in case people didn't get it.
Specifically to the people who complained about Liz's fuck the Tories t-shirt, the death, and I cannot emphasize this enough, of Thatcher.
I like it. There's a really good podcast on Thatcherism. Just into Trash Future, anyone?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you do it. You've got a podcast. I think it's on the Patreon, but it's about Thatcherism, and it's so good. It just picks apart everything from like the late 70s to like 1990, and it's mind-blowingly bad stuff, but it's a really good podcast.
Yeah.
Dan, any advance on the death of Thatcher?
David Bowie's birthday.
Oh,
I think that should be a bank holiday every year.
That was a nice counterbalance. That I like it.
We every day we have to see people in the public eye still gulping down lungfuls of precious oxygen. While David Bowie's in the ground. A man who completely changed the way my life was going at 14, and I saw the front cover of Low, and I didn't know what the music sounded like at all, but I just saw this image on the front cover of Low with his hair
the orange
going from white to yellow to orange to deep red to sort of like that with the collar up. And I just thought, I don't know who that is, but I need to listen to that now. And that was it. I'd spent 10 years copying his haircuts until it all fell out. David Bowie's birthday every year.
Yeah, you can't beat being that age where you're so influenced by everything you see and hear. You're just like a sponge at that age, aren't you? It's amazing. And everything in the world went tits up as soon as David Bowie died, didn't it?
That year was an absolute stinker because it was David Bowie, Prince, and someone else in the same year, and it was just like, Jesus Christ, can you give it, give it a rest for a bit? You know what I mean? It was just sort of.
I was invited to a New Year's party that year. It was 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I was invited to a New Year's party where you had to dress up as someone who died that year, which is just the bleakest thing I think I've ever been invited. I'm just like, friends don't make friends do this. But
yeah, come as my Auntie Barbara.
Yeah,
George Michael died in 2016 as well.
Yeah.
Victoria Woods.
David Bowie's always in this room looking at me because he's over there as well, David Bowie. That's the Jim will paint it.
Oh yeah. What's he doing on that one?
It is David Bowie as in Tin Machine, David Bowie in Labyrinth, and David Bowie is Aladdin Sane on top of the space shuttle. I've got on that wall there. I've got a cast of his face that was taken by a makeup artist who did The Man Who Fell to Earth, and she was taking casts of all the actors' faces for the makeup and stuff, and all the prosthetics and stuff. It's a bit weird because it looks like a death mask, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And it's cast in white plaster, and it's on a white wall, so it looks like it's coming out of the wall like Terminator 2. But
yeah, freak you out when you've had a session, that one. Matt, what are we having a bank holiday for?
You know what? Sam's robbed mine with the England games.
Oh,
but
sorry.
I wouldn't do it. But like genuinely, for a different reason, I wouldn't use it to watch England. I just like go and get loads of other things done while everyone's out in town or in their house watching the England game. So I'd like go the tip because it'd be really quiet. Get the big shop done. You know, go down the beach because there'll be nobody there, so they'll be stuck inside watching England. Because certainly those early group games, you know, not really asked about watching that. So England matches for the sake of convenience.
England matches
just boring life admin things done
for the tip run. Yeah,
might not quite the tip would be when England are playing.
Oh, it'd be great. I'd make several unnecessary runs just because I could, I think. Yeah, definitely. Right, next question.
Yeah, you could like practice your whether you throw things into the skips or place them. You could really refine your technique with no one around it.
You could run the full gamut of it. Just, you know, do the overarm chuck, just not because you need to, just because you can.
You know what? I do like a good overhead throw at the tip. It feels like really satisfying now, where you properly launch it in.
Yeah.
And definitely try and smash something that's already in the skip.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People have, if there's like something with like a bit of like glass in it, like a pane of glass, and you can land it so it smashes. Then.
Yeah, definitely. Right, next question. Sorry, I'm just trying to find. There we go. What's your favourite EFC fume of all time? Matt, will come to you first on this. So, I was inspired by a tweet from Gaz Richo that said, "We've had Jonjoe Kenny fume, Mashiri fume, steak fume, kit release fume, and it's only June." So he said, "What's next on the Everton wheel of fume?" So I'm just going to say, what is your favourite fume of all time about the toffees?
You've done well. You know, it sort of felt like Everton have not existed up until this week, and it's like they're just like back again, aren't they now? Yeah. Like releasing players, signing players, owners doing open letters. It's like, oh, there they are, lurking in the shadows in the back out again now. It's got to be Koeman's Christmas tree, hasn't it? That is unrivaled. You know, I mean, I'm expecting people to like kick off at me for having a red and white mug here. Have you drink out of that? Call yourself an Everton, but that was just forcing a manager to change the colour of his Christmas tree decorations because they were red.
It's something else, that, isn't it?
That is unbelievable. I don't think that can ever be topped. Some of the greatest hits, I think, were Samuel Eto'o's number. Followed by Morgan Schneidlin's number. But I think the Koeman Christmas tree is unrivaled.
Yeah. I mean, if there's any time of the year that red is acceptable, it's Christmas, isn't it? You know, it's just a Christmas colour. But yeah, that was top toffee in that. Dan?
I do like, you know, sort of erring on the side of relatively recent. I think Bill's comments outside about us having good times. It's just got to be, because the guy just, I'm sure he goes home and just, as he's got a list on a whiteboard of things to piss people off with, and he just sort of sees how many he can do in a day. You know what I mean? He's just sort of like, it's the fact that all he had to do was kind of skulk away. You know?
He didn't need the confrontation, did he?
But but the other thing is, you know, he actually thinks that. You know, he actually believes that. There's no kind of PR spin. There's no kind of, I need to say something. He actually genuinely believes that. And that's the most bizarre thing about it. But it's the fact that he sort of, you know, it's the face and the way he's sort of, everything about it just sort of epitomizes hopefully the kind of burning of his tenure, is the fact that you can see it just all sort of collapsing around him, but he's still like, I'm going to go out and talk to everybody and have a good chat. And everyone, you know, there should have been someone behind him going, just go out that door now. Just piss off out that door and go home.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, no, I'm going to go and have a chat. I'm going to tell him how great it's all been. You know what I mean? And it's just like everybody's just going, fucking hell. You know.
I think he sort of regarded that as the honourable thing to do as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's got a possibly slightly misplaced sense of kind of honour and decency about him, and it just spectacularly backfired.
On that particular moment, it's the face he does, isn't it? It's like that smug face, like which people like cut and mean. It's like, oh god, saying we've had good times is annoying enough, but doing it and then doing that big shit-eating grin afterwards, like, I mean, you've got to sort of admire that in a way, haven't you?
It was like after the Leicester game as well. I mean, why did he think, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write a letter to the fans. Just leave us. It's fine, honestly. We're all right. Yeah, that was a good one. Ken Wright Fume, there's nothing quite like it. No. What? Good 20 years of Ken Wright Fume. There's a lot of material there. Sam?
I was thinking about this because there's so many, isn't there? But I think the one that got me was the Jose Baxter contract, when his life had gone, like his life had just gone a little bit, you know, hadn't gone very well, and he was just chucking a few £1,000s at him just for 12 months just to get his, you know, just to gently help him get his shit back together. And no, the fury, the absolute fury. Like, this is losers' behaviour. This is losers' mentality. This specifically, just helping out this lad who's not doing so well. This is why we haven't won a major trophy since 1995. Yeah, I thought that was kind of uniquely mean-spirited, which, you know, you have to applaud.
Yeah, I mean, the club did just do him a solid, didn't they? It was no massive deal, but then it was just the cozy club, and that was it. As you say, he is the reason we've not won anything.
It's like
stuff like that.
It's like Everton in the community, isn't it? Whenever Everton in the community do something good,
yeah,
it's not like
charity.
Well, everyone for doing. It's not. Oh, look at this great thing that the club are doing. This is why we haven't won anything for so many years. Like, football club and a charity can coexist as two independent entities. You know, they don't necessarily reflect on each other. But oh god, we've had so many, haven't we?
Yeah.
Do you remember the City badges on the shorts?
Oh god, yeah. There was the non-sewn on badges on the Hummel kit.
Yeah, the peeled off.
Yeah. Which, by the way, they're still not sewn on. they're just an embroidered outline that's been ironed on. God, yeah, the kit.
Just the red season tickets. That was back in the annals of time.
Oh god, yeah, the red season ticket book. Yeah, there's even
back when season tickets were like sort of lottery tickets.
Yeah, and you sort of had that physical getting towards the end of the season where your book was getting a bit thin, and it was great. It's like not much more to go now. It's brilliant. Just thinking back of Everton Fume through the ages, there's like, it goes back to that picture of the fella with the board at Goodison saying "Keep young, sack Catterick."
Yeah.
We've always been head cases, haven't we? Really? You look at it.
Confronted in Yarko at Arsenal as well.
Oh god, yeah. Fucking shit with
it. Even like this year, even like one thing which I was quite proud of people for not fuming about, we ended up fuming about. That was the Dominic Calvert-Lewin modelling photos. Like when he first started doing them, everyone was like, "Oh, you know, he's got a life outside footy. He's a young man with different interests. This is great." And then when he was injured for a bit and didn't play that well, all of a sudden it was like, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" We all went full Mike Parry then, didn't we? And it was like, "What's going on here? How can he be on my telly on an advert and not be training at the same time with Everton? What's going on here?"
Why is he on the telly now? He should be a Finch farm. What's going on?
Just observing. Just, you know, he can't even train at the minute. He should just be there, dutifully sort of watching.
Yeah, it's like pulling a sickie but turning up at work anyway. It's like you should just be sat at the desk. You don't have to work. Just sit there though. Sorry, Sam, what you say? You're breaking up a bit there.
Oh, sorry. Am I all right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, no, it's like Tom Davis in his loud suit when he was injured. Everyone was like, he should be in a trackie.
Oh God, yeah.
Like,
Someone said, I don't care what he wears in his own time, but he shouldn't turn up at the game like that. What's that about? Oh God, what a club! And it's all going to start again very soon.
I feel like there's a whole like show in itself here.
It probably is. I think we'll do
feel like
Everton
Fume through the ages could be like a book you could write, Les.
Yeah, I think I might do some research on this. Foxy said, also with the picture, and Foxy is in the know here, also with the picture of Jonjoe in the news today that he will be leaving Everton, is this proof we've been waiting for, Les? ITK Roberts status. Hashtag the bucket. Did
you know he was going, did you?
I had inside info, that's why I used that picture clearly. No, so my reason for using that GIF was because the Jonjoe Kenny fume, I think, was the strangest one for me this summer. It was like, we're offering a squad player a new contract. He's not great, but he can fill in several positions, and he seemed happy enough to do that job. So why would you not offer him a new contract, I think, especially given the amount of injury hassle we've had. So I found that a bit weird. And I was a bit disappointed that he didn't stay, because I thought, he is a decent squad player, but fair play to him. He wants to go and play somewhere else and watch him turn into Cafu now.
It's hard enough to get excited about fullbacks anyway, isn't it? Never mind third choice fullbacks.
Yeah, no one's asked about fullbacks. Like, this is the thing I don't get with like them across the park with Andy Robertson and Alexander Arnold. It's like, ooh, fullbacks. No one cares about fullbacks. I was a fullback myself. I can attest to the fact that no one gives a shit about fullbacks. Speaking of which,
that sounds like a half man, half biscuit lyric.
No one gives
a shit about fullbacks. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Mike Blakey said, name more awful right backs. Here's some for starters: Neil McDonald, Paul Holmes, Marc Hotiger, Tony Thomas, Earl Barrett. Bloody hell, didn't mean to write that many, all just came flooding out. I mean, we've not done well at right back, have we?
Cuco, innit? It's Cuco all day long.
Cuco Martina as well, yeah.
The man that sounds like a cocktail.
Dos Cuco Martinos, possible.
I'll tell you what,
two that sprung to mind for me were Wembley greatest hits, and it was Mo Besic, who played right back, do you remember? In that final. And Anthony Martial just absolutely ragged them all day. And then the other one was Lars Jakobsen, who also came off for us in an FA Cup final, didn't he?
Yeah.
Tony Hibbert melted in the sun.
God, just thinking about that team we put out against United in the semi-final, how did we nearly win that game? We should never have been in that game at all, should we? We should have won it.
We had like Besic at right back, Jagielka, who was clearly injured.
Yeah.
Darren Gibbs, who was just like brought the game and then just disappeared forever again then.
Yeah, we have no right being even in that game. And we should have.
And how bad that was, and it's quite...
What was that, Tom? You there?
Sorry, my connection's shit, isn't it?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear you all
yeah,
right.
can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, your picture just freezes, but we can hear you fine.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know what's going on here.
Saturday morning, isn't it? Hasn't woken up yet.
It's all this right back chat.
It is. Can't handle this right back chat.
There's only one solution to the right back chat, though, isn't there, Les?
We all know the answer, don't we?
Don't we?
We all know the answer.
So what the right back problem is, and it's just never been done before because no one is as revolutionary as you could sell.
Exactly. There's only one man for the job. Football United, Tom Davis.
I still believe. I'm still a believer.
Do you know what? It'll be a sad day when he leaves the club. I don't think I've ever wanted the player to do well more than I want him to do well.
You only got 1 year left now.
Will be only, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Put him right back. Can't do any worse.
Alex Iwobi's still stolen his thunder, hasn't he? In that sense, he's become like the midfielder that's turned into a right winger.
Yeah.
Redemption story, yeah.
He has, because he had half a good game against Fulham there. And that was it. Yeah, he could fill in there. Just looking at that list though, who do you reckon the worst one is there? Out of Neil McDonald, Paul Holmes, Marc Hotiger, Tony Thomas, and Earl Barrett. I'm going with Paul Holmes.
Before my time, some of them.
Yeah, I suppose they were, weren't they? Yeah.
Earl Barrett wasn't great.
What's that?
Earl Barrett wasn't great.
He wasn't. But then he was just behind Kanchelskis, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So it was like he didn't really need to be. He just had to sort of like stop players and then just give him the ball. He didn't have to do anything else. Paul Holmes, the only thing of note that he did was hit his own crossbar with a volley.
What me about Earl Barrett was...
Sorry, Sam, what was that?
What struck me about Earl Barrett was the time that we attempted to play with wing backs, and you can tell Earl Barrett is a wing back. It does not make it so.
No, he was just limbs, wasn't he? Yeah, that was never going to end well. Oh, let's hope this new back would got better anyway.
Yeah. We had like a spell, didn't we, where we played at Anfield like 7 years in a row, where we had a different right back in every game.
Yeah, James Coleman didn't play there, did he? Ever?
Yeah, it was weird. Brian Oviedo played there one time, I think.
Yeah, John Stones.
Bad. He plays there for City sometimes now, doesn't he? But that's very different, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God. Liam said about that Jonjoe Kenny gift. This is actually a good demonstration of the self-soothing butterfly hug. So maybe
I thought it was the Yakubu.
I thought it was the Yakubu, but maybe that's what Yakubu was doing. Soothing himself. Jonathan Gard said, could James Trkowski, are we saying is it Trkowski?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could James Trkowski wrestle a bear cub if it was only 60 kilograms? So, because we are in the age of Brexit, 60 kilograms is like 9 stone 4 pounds. Just for reference there in old money. So, could James Trkowski wrestle a 9 stone bear? I think he could.
I think it's like requisite, isn't it, if you join Burnley? Is that not the initiation? It's part
Sean
of your
Dyche.
medical.
Sean Dyche, release the bear cubs.
Yeah. Wrestle a bear, get a short back and sides, you're in some. There you go. Matt, what we saying?
just a great mental image, that just this bear at Burnley's training ground. Right, you've done your picture with your new shirt. Here's your medical, right? Off you go into the bear pit.
That's the Burnley way.
You've got to eat worms, and you've got to wrestle a bear at Burnley to get a contract.
Yeah, there's definitely something in there.
Surely not, though. Like that, a 9 stone bear club with like big teeth and claws. I'm not having that.
No, maybe not. I don't know.
Like by wrestle, does he mean beat in a like pin, or just like hold your own, like wrestling it for a bit?
I reckon pin.
You'd give it like the Stone Cold Stunner.
Suplex the fuck out, pin it. Yeah. Definitely. Liam's asked, mint Aero or normal? My mate, Andrew K. Coburn, says normal, and frankly, I think he's wrong. Steve said, I can't eat flavoured chocolate, either mint or orange, but I realise I'm in the minority. What we saying, mint Aero or normal? Sam?
No, absolutely not mint Aero.
Not
like,
mint.
I've never eaten a bar of chocolate. No, I like chocolate and thought, I wish this tasted more like taste. Like, it's, I'm not.
Are you breaking up again?
Might be best to turn the camera off.
Yeah, maybe if you turn your camera off, it'll learn.
Yeah.
We never used to have these problems, did we? This is a new thing. Turn your camera off. You're on mute. Sorry, Sam, go on. What were you saying?
Sorry, I'll just... Can you hear me?
That's
yeah.
Don't worry, I'll edit all this out. Don't worry.
Yeah. Sorry.
So what are you saying about it's definitely not mint?
like no, like I say, I've never been enjoying a bar of chocolate and thought this is all right, but I wish it tasted more like toothpaste. That is that's not something I require from chocolate.
The thing as well with flavoured chocolate like mint and orange, if you put it in the same biscuit tin as plain biscuits, everything just vaguely tastes of mint or orange.
That's what the Viscount used to do, didn't it? Someone slipped a Viscount in your biscuit tin.
Yeah. Everything, you Kit Kats would be soyed.
Yeah.
Never had a biscuit tin.
No?
Just sort of loose in the cupboard, yeah.
Oh, man.
We're just rattling around.
they're all like in a packet. They're not just like a digest. The cream there. They're all like they're all like in a particular.
Fuzzing them into.
Matt, your life is chaos. Jesus.
I find like half a Kit Kat in the fridge.
My nan, God bless her soul, used to in the boxes of chocolate. She used to take one out, taste it. If she didn't like it, she'd put it back in.
Oh, so God.
We'd open boxes of chocolate and they'd be just half-eaten things in there. It's like, what are you doing? And this wasn't like a losing your marbles thing. She just did it.
You know that person said they couldn't eat flavoured chocolate?
Yeah.
I've got a friend, and this is no lie, this is complete, because I didn't believe this at first, but it's completely true. He, there are phobias and there are phobias, right? I don't like spiders, fair enough. This guy I know, and I've known him since we were kids, can't eat any food that has printed lettering on it. So Kit Kat, digestive, bourbon.
Oh my God.
Nice biscuits, nice biscuits, whichever way you want to go. Anything that has an embossed lettering on it, can't eat it. Phobia of it.
Wow.
What is that all about?
I wonder what's happened in his life for that to like.
Thing is, when we were students, we wanted to test this theory, so we wrote all over most of his food. So we got so you write the word carrot on a carrot, and then you carve, we were carving stuff into his food, stuff like that, to see if he would eat it. And he can't eat it. He's got a massive phobia to anything that's been written on or embossed or engraved or whatever you want to call it. But yeah. So he's missing out on the likes of the Kit Kat.
Yeah. I mean, how bad must his birthday parties have been? Jesus.
What if like he had a Kit Kat and it had melted a bit to the letter and it sort of like
buffed it off?
Yeah. Would he be fine then, do you reckon? Or knowing the fact it did have letters on it would have made it uneatable? I
don't know. We never went down the route of buffing the buffing the typeface off.
Like an illegal gun, shaving the serial number.
Taking the chassis number off of it. Bad times, isn't it? Because there's a lot of food that's been embossed.
You don't realise, do you?
The Aero's embossed, isn't it?
Yeah. I think most chocolate bars are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Wow. For the record, it's mint Aero all the way for me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, actually.
Yeah. Steve has asked, the lad who can't eat flavoured chocolate, what are you guys concentrating on sports-wise until the season starts? As a fan of St Helens, Lancashire, and with a load of test matches coming up, it will hopefully make the time pass quickly before the new season. You've got to love that optimism, haven't you? I really want the new season to start. I can't get here quickly enough. So for me, nothing, because I just about watch Everton. So I don't watch any other sports, really. Matt, I'll defer to you on this.
Yeah, I'll be watching loads of cricket. Maybe not much of this test match because they're going to get leathered. So maybe can't really be arsed. But I love the Tour de France as well. I watch some of the good stages in that, even though they are obviously all drugged up. But it's still quite fun. It's quite fun to watch them sort of push themselves to ridiculous levels up the side of vertical hills. But,
We've had this before. I think you said it, Sam, didn't you? Just give them all the drugs. Just give athletes all the drugs they want and just let them go for it. So none of this like anti-doping stuff. Just dope them up. Whatever you want, go for it, lads. See what happens.
We can watch someone break like the 6-second 100 meters and then their heads explode at the end.
It won't be, wouldn't it?
Again, I don't want to bring it up twice on the show, but it's like when Mike Parry said one day there'll be a boy born that can swim the 100 meters faster than a shark. I think he might have robbed that off The Office, actually, thinking about it. I think that line from The Office. I think Mike Parry said there'll be someone born who can run the 100 meters in 1 second.
Yeah.
And then it implies.
Sam, will you be watching any other sport?
Oh yeah, I mean, I got very close to play at the cricket yesterday. I got very strong Everton vibes. It was just like, oh yeah, I remember this feeling. This is I don't know it, but
Oh, you crackly again there. Oh.
Really.
Sorry, Sam, you're cracking up again there. Dan?
I'm like you. I don't think I'll be watching anything particularly. I think this break is the break I really needed. So I'll be dipping into the odd transfer thing, no matter where it is, because I quite like seeing the madness that precedes the transfer. You know, during the transfer window, you know, you're allowed to spend this much on that player, but you're not allowed to spend that much on that player. You know, it's considered, you know, because you've always got to be the underdog, guys. So I'll be watching a bit of that, and the rest of the time, mate, I'll be trying to perfect my canoe technique.
How's that going, by the way?
I can get in and out now with a level of confidence.
Yeah.
Especially as I have to get in my canoe at a sort of quite public jetty, where a lot of people do exactly the same thing. And for the first few weeks, I definitely looked like someone with all the gear and no idea. But I made it to the pub and back the other day on my own, and I didn't go in, and I didn't get attacked by a swan. So yeah, that's going to be my summer. Just this.
Canoeing to the pub.
Are there like canoeing and bevying regulations you've got to adhere to, or?
I tend to kind of get there pretty early, have a couple on the riverside, because you pull your canoe up onto where the beer garden is, pull your canoe up, I have a couple, and then I head back. So I'm not at the 3 pint sweet spot, shall we say. I always make sure I'm just under the 3 pint sweet spot, because the canoe back can be quite tough if you've had a few. And also I've got my canoe isn't very high sided, it's like a hybrid. It's a bit like, it's a cross between a canoe and a kayak, so it's quite low sided. So the last thing you want is to be,
yeah,
you know.
Sam, have you ever taken charge of a boat while pissed?
I've never taken charge of a boat while sober. That's a terrible idea. Like me and my friend Kelly Wells, always talk about getting a yacht, but purely because, you know, it would be the end of civilization itself potentially. It's just because we would be so terribly bad at it. We're kind of keen on the idea of taking charge of a boat, but no.
Prestige worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd pay to see that. Foxy, I'll come to you first on this one, Sam, because you've got a very good theory on it. Foxy said, in the same vein of, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Answer yes, in Foxy's opinion. My question is Top Gun a chick flick? Sam?
No, it is gay porn for cowards.
There you go.
I like respect, you know, with respect to anyone who likes Top Gun, and it's you know, a reasonably, you know, it's fine film and all that. But I've seen actual gay porn that is less gay than Top Gun.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but there's a volleyball bit, right?
That's the most homoerotic thing.
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. And have I imagined this? Because the last time I saw it, I was probably about 14. But is there a bit where one of them slaps another one's ass?
Is it, or a low high five?
Oh no, it's the high five that goes to the low five, isn't it?
I think. That's it. But yeah, you know, and any heterosexual man could quite rightly twitch at that scene, because it's a good scene. It's nothing to be ashamed of if you do. It's, you know, it's just natural. I have to defy anyone not to be honest with Val Kilmer in a pair of Speedos. Matt, what's your thoughts on Top Gun as a chick flick?
You know what? I've never seen it.
No.
No. I mean, every time this film's been brought up on the show, I've just sort of sat and nodded and maybe said something in general, because I think it's probably time to just admit I've never seen it. Tom Cruise is one of those actors, a bit like Nicolas Cage, that whenever I see him or something, I just think, I just can't take you seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because he's obviously like world famous, really good. But I'm like, I just can't take this film seriously now because you're in it. I don't really get it.
Apparently, there's an amazing bit in the new one where he goes into a load of students who are all learning about piloting or whatever, like plane school, whatever it is, and he literally goes in with with a kind of a rule book and literally drops it in the bin. This is the sort of this is the level of subtlety.
Just a bit Partridge, isn't he?
Hey, why did he call you Maverick? So, all right, Matt, so you've not seen Top Gun, right? What's everyone's sort of biggest film they've never seen? Mine is I've never seen E.T. and I've never seen a single Rocky film. Dan, what's the biggest film you've just never seen?
I've never watched any of the Lord of the Rings films.
That's a big one.
Just can't be asked.
Yeah,
when I was in New Zealand, they just opened. Peter Jackson had bought this cinema in Wellington that was going to shut down. Really beautiful old cinema. And all this cinema showed all day was Lord of the Rings. And he'd even got outside the cinema, there was a fuck off great big dragon crawling up the side of the building. But that's all it showed. And I was there for 6 months and I never went in, because it's just, when you go to New Zealand, you meet people every day, and it's like the 7 separations of bacon or whatever it's called. You go into a pub in the South Island and there's always someone who is in it. You go into a petrol station in the North Island and you buy a pie, and that bloke's cousin was a hobbit buffer or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, literally, there's 3 million people in that country, and 80% of them have had some sort of involvement in that film at some point. You know what I mean? So,
is it like the amount of people who saw the Sex Pistols at the Free Trade Hall?
It's exactly the same as the amount of people that stood next to Mick Hucknall with that Sex Pistols. Yeah. So yeah, no, I haven't seen any of them.
That's a good shout. Sam?
Oh God, people are going to groan. Star Wars.
Oh,
it's all right. Just, I'm not offended by that.
Yes,
that's fair
but like, actually, that's not quite true, because on an absolutely spectacular day for someone who has never seen any of the Star Wars films, someone took me to see the second prequel, which, if you haven't seen any of the other film, it makes literally no sense.
This little green fucker jumping about, what's he?
Yeah, I just had to sort of enjoy it as a kind of spectacle. I couldn't engage with the plot whatsoever.
Thinking about it, that is possibly the worst one you can see out of context.
Yeah,
definitely.
I must admit, I found the whole raft of shit that's come out since those films quite hard to either commit or be excited about. It's like, I tried to watch the original 3 with my son, and he asked me at one point, when does this get going? Do you know what I mean? And I turned it off. Even I was like, we're an hour in and nothing's happening. They're still bowling around. You know what I mean? I was just like, I can't remember. I couldn't remember, because as a kid, you've got all your toys, haven't you?
Yeah.
You're burying Han Solo up to his neck in the back garden and stuff. So I can't believe I went to the cinema as a child and sat through it, because there are so many large portions of those films that are just as dull as, it's all about politics, and there's people sitting around what looks like sort of EU conferences and stuff, and you're just like, and then The Mandalorian, I just was like, I'm just tired, I just don't care, and all the sort of animated stuff and all that, and it just feels like, all right lads, okay, you really are fleecing the final last hairs off of this donkey, aren't you? You know what I mean? It's like, and now it's the Obi-Wan thing, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. It's just like, how long can this genuinely go on for before everybody just admits that there is a demographic that like this?
I do fully turn into comic book guy with it though. I love it. So Rebels and the Clone Wars cartoons are amazing. But to your point about how boring bits of it are, here's the opening crawl from the Phantom Menace. Here's the first thing you see when the Phantom Menace starts. Turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic. The taxation of trade routes to out-of-line star systems is in dispute. Hoping to resolve the matter with a blockade of deadly battleships, the greedy Trade Federation has stopped all shipping to the small planet of Naboo. I am in.
It's like a debate, sort of a debate in the Commons, isn't it?
It is. Honestly, if you turn the radio on and someone was saying that, you turn it back off. Who thought that was a good idea?
That sounds like something that James Robb would say. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's just sort of like today on my show, we're going to be discussing trade routes between the islands and blah blah blah, and the Federation of. It's just like, I couldn't believe that my son bailed out so quickly. He was like, Dad, nah, this ain't happening. And just bailed on it. And I was sort of left there wanting it, expecting it to rekindle some sort of childhood memories. And I just thought, no, you're right. This is very dull.
I think possibly the best ever Star Wars thing is Malcolm Tucker's synopsis of it, in the thick of it. The space cowboy, the hairdresser, the dustbin. He's shagging his sister. Amazing. I would recommend anyone just search for Malcolm Tucker Star Wars on YouTube. It's possibly the best 15 seconds of telly ever. Chris has asked, have you ever had a pea fritter? And what's your favourite battered food item? Dan, I'll come to you first. Do you know what a pea fritter is? I don't even know how that'd work.
I haven't. I've heard of them, but I've never had one. The fritter is the fritter is quite a regular in this house. We like a sweet corn fritter. Jalapeno sweet corn fritter. But my favourite deep fry thing only happened a couple of weeks ago. In Harrogate, of all places. And we went to a place called Samson's in Harrogate and ordered everything off the snacks menu and everything off the starters menu. And the chef came out and gave us a round of applause. He was like, now that, he came out and he was like, now that is an order. He was just like, yes. But one of the snacks was slow cooked barbecue short rib nuggets. And they were absolutely incredible. They were like in a sort of a light batter, sort of bubbly, almost like a nugget, just like a chicken nugget. You smoky sort of sauce over the top of them. And when you bit into them, it was just that soft, kind of unctuous, slow cooked short rib kind of thing. And then you dipped them in the barbecue sauce and there was like this little sprinkling of chives and stuff all over the top. But they were unbelievable, just unbelievable.
That's amazing. Into that.
Starving after that.
Yeah, same. I go to Hickory's this afternoon. Matt, have you ever had a pea fritter?
No, mate, I haven't. I'm not a fritter fanatic, really, like Dan. But
fritter fanatic. Tell you what, there's so many things vying for the title here. This podcast.
I'd probably say just spring rolls for mine, to be honest. I'm not really that into deep fried food, really, but duck spring roll, a bit of hoisin, can't go wrong.
It's a decent shout. It's Stone Cold classic, man. Yeah. Sam?
I haven't had a pea fritter. I would love a pea fritter. I'd like on a barn with chips. That sounds amazing. But I would go with. I recently had a fried pickle, like a mini gherkin.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that sounds grotesque, and it was amazing.
I suppose it's like tempura vegetables, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like because the pickle's sort of quite sharp. It sort of cuts through the fact it's deep fried.
Mm.
But yeah, I thought that sounded disgusting and I was going to leave it, but no, it was amazing.
Yeah, I definitely need some deep fried food today after this. I'll be going to Chippy as soon as it opens, I reckon. Gary, how do you cope after you've been to the best gig ever and life is just shite? This is a very real phenomenon. I haven't been to Nebworth last week. I've seen so many people on a big downer this week. You know, like post-holiday blues. Loads of people seem to have had that after Nebworth last week. I don't know what it was. I've never had that after a gig before. So I know how he feels. My solution was to go to another one last night, and I'm going to see Beck on Wednesday. So Thursday morning I will be a mess because it's like this run of gigs has come to an end, and I'll just be so sad on Thursday.
But basically like hair of the dog, but with gigs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's the best way to get over it. Just keep booking gigs. And
just rolling on through.
Yeah, just power through the summer until the toffees are back, and then you'll forget about everything. James has asked, if you had the choice to be massively famous and this is the last question actually. If you had the choice to be a massively famous and successful actor, music artist, or sports person, which one would you choose, assuming the money is the same for all three? Sam.
I have a favourite celebrity who I just think does celebrity magnificently, and that is Seth Rogen. Just sits around all day, gets baked, plays with his dog, watches telly with his wife, gets a lot of takeaway. I think that is just how you should be famous. He's just, does a bit of clay modelling when he feels like it.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff he makes.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but also like he doesn't dick about. It's he does what he feels like because he's enormously rich and he can. And I feel like he's a lifestyle guru.
Yeah, I could live with that, definitely. Dan?
Because I always wanted to be a footballer more than anything in the world. It's all even when I was in bands and stuff, I didn't care about it as much as I wanted to be a footballer. So I'd be Zinedine Zidane. Because he was everything. He was mysterious. He was aloof. He was a man who embraced his baldness to the point of stubbornness. We've all been there. We've all tried to deny it. And he just went for it. And he was probably one of the most incredible, sublime, sort of almost, that whole thing, that the term languid gets used for players like Dimitar Berbatov and blah, 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 blah. But Zidane was a whole different level. It was just sort of like, I'm making this look so easy. He didn't even look like a footballer. He looked like he should be a sort of, obscure, watercolorist, from the Dordogne or something, that sort of, once cut off, someone's finger in a bar fight about pastis or something like that. And he smoked his entire footballing career. He's won everything. He's been part of some of the most famous footballing moments to ever, that will be etched into time forever, whether it's the headbutt or that moment where Barthez pings it out to him and he just takes it with one touch and Cruyff turns his way out of it. And he's just an absolute god of football. He's tattooed on my arm. But yeah, I'd be Zinedine Zidane all day long.
Yeah, I think there will be, if you were at the top of your game, I think being a professional footballer would be probably the most satisfying. What do you reckon, Matt?
Being that kind of professional footballer as well. The other one was like Ronaldinho, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Didn't really take it all that seriously, but was amazing. And I'd sound like he had a great time while doing it as well, by all accounts. So yeah, if you're talented enough to be that type of footballer, then I'd probably say that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think acting would be bottom, music second.
Get that on a banner.
Football, acting, music in that order.
Yeah, I think I'd go with it. If you were going to be like an elite, it would be a footballer, and especially that kind of footballer where you, as you say, Matt, you're not really that arsed, you're just dead good.
Yeah, like Zidane's such a great example. Like I saw that picture of that famous picture of him was doing the rounds on Twitter the other day, wasn't it? Of him eating pizza in the pizzeria in Italy somewhere, and it's just like, yeah, that just sums him up.
You know the film with the Mogwai soundtrack and stuff. And that film is just so him, because he looks like he's blowing out of his arse from the first minute. You know, he's sweating, and he doesn't look, you know, whatever he is then, early 30s. He looks about 45, you know, and every now and again you just see him in that film, and he just looks at someone, and then you see him sort of do a little bit of movement, and the next thing you know, he's created a bit of space, and he takes the ball and then he pings it, and he takes the ball and he pings it. And all the time he's making so little effort to move around the pitch, but every time he gets the ball, he does something with it. And then there's bits where he's looking at Beckham, and Beckham looks back at him, and he's sweating, and he just looks terrible. And then I think in that film, doesn't he score and get sent off in the same game or something like that? And that's just the epitome of who he was. It was just, you know, he played with this incredible joie de vivre, shall we say. That's
the one. And what a note to end on there. Although I've got to say one more thing from Jonathan. This isn't a question, it's a prediction. We win I don't know where this has come from, but I'm all for it. We win the derby at Goodison, and Frank Lampard does the giving it the big one to the scruffy. I'll leave it at that. So there's a prediction for next season. Put your mortgage on it. That's all for this week's mailbag. Matt has disappeared, so hopefully we'll get him back in a minute. Thanks to Matt, thanks to Sam, thanks to Dan, thanks to everyone who sent questions in. We will catch you next time.